Hello and welcome back to another episode of Entertainment Roadmap. Today we're here with Ashley Tavares, who you might recognize from My Life with the Walter Boys. Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So I just want to say that your role on this show was fantastic. When I started watching it and
Sure.
said this to Noah, I just thought you were going to be like a little school counselor, like just kind of like how you see that in shows, but like you outsold, like you came in and outsold.
Thank you. God, that means so much to me. Thank you so much. Yeah, she was I didn't expect it either, honestly. I kind of thought the same thing, like, little somebody that supports the story, of course, and supports other characters in the story. I did not expect what happened by the end of the show to be my character's end of the show by any means. It was really exciting.
Yeah, no, that's super exciting. And before we get to all of that, so
Yeah.
you worked on an animated TV show,
I did,
Doom.
yes.
So, what is the difference between working on an animated TV show and live action TV show?
Doomlands is the first animated show I've ever worked on in terms of a series. And it was all a learning curve for me, big time. I did Doomlands prior to doing My Life with the Walter Boys. And I guess the main difference is not having the physical the being able to physically act with somebody, being able to like be there in person with them and vibe off of their energy and use that to kind of move the scene forward. In voiceover, even though you might be in the same like space with them, that can be helpful, but it's just a little bit different having those like cans on and looking at a screen to say your lines and looking at the character in front of you, the animation in front of you. It's like a different art form. It's really interesting. And it's so I'm not gonna say it's no, it's harder. It's harder for me at least to do voiceover work and to put everything I do put into my characters on camera into a voiceover character, into an animated character. You just have to work so much harder to convey things. Um, Doomlands in particular is a lot of improv. Like, I mean, it's also written big time, but it's a lot of improv. And that can kind of get squashed sometimes when you're doing shows, especially like prime time, like on camera work. They're like, don't improv. We've got a script for a reason. But in animation, or at least on Doomlands, we really have the freedom to just like riff off of one another and do bits, and we do it all the time, and it's so fun and scary and like edge of the seat kind of all the time. It's really fun. And Doomlands in particular is super fun because it's like a dark comedy, which is my favorite genre.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like improv is something that takes a confidence. So, did you feel your confidence kind of build while you were doing this with Doomlands?
That's such a good question. It definitely did. I was so scared when I did that first episode. Oh my God. I told my mom, I was like, I don't think I'm going to survive this. I think I'm going to pass out or black out or something, have a panic attack. And she was like, you're going to do fine. And I got through the first one and I was like, okay, that was so scary, but maybe I could do the next one and I won't feel this panic in my chest. It actually took me a good like 5 episodes, I'd say, to be like, okay, I got this. And I've done improv on camera. I'm very comfortable with that. My physicality and like, using my face and like that kind of stuff can make people laugh. And you're like, oh, I'm all good. But if you're just using your voice and you're using the story and the other people in the scene with you, it takes more confidence, I feel like. And it's funny, I feel like the people who I work with would be like, we're not confident. We just know, we're just having fun. And so I think it's both. I think it's having confidence and also really being able to play and try your hardest not to be self-conscious, even though it's impossible.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I can imagine it also might be more freeing just because like there's no camera on you. And so if like something goes wrong, like you don't have to restart the entire scene.
No,
You can just take like that same line over again as many times.
absolutely. And you can
Yeah.
actually do that on camera too, which is nice.
Mhm.
If you've been doing it for a while, you can kind of just be like, oh, nope, wait, that's not the right line. Going again. And you just take a beat and you start that line again because they can cut that really nicely. But I can absolutely, there's more freedom. Sitting in a booth, at least in my experience, because I haven't been in the room with the other actors on Doomlands, sitting in a booth by myself in my house, playing Xanthina, who I play on Doomlands, is incredibly freeing and so fun. And nobody's looking at you. So you get to kind of do whatever you want. Your face can be as weird as you want. Your body can be as weird as you want. I don't have to wear makeup. It's my job. I'm just ready at all. I have a cup of coffee. Don't even have to brush my teeth if I don't want to. It's great.
I have to say though, you're stunning. So probably when you go in with makeup, everyone's probably like they can't even tell. Like you're
You
gorgeous.
are
So
so sweet. Thank you for saying that. Thank you.
So moving on to My Life with the Walter Boys, had you
Yes.
read the book before your audition or after, or have you not read it at all?
I did read the book. I hadn't read it prior to, but when I booked the part on my way to Canada when I was flying there, I read the book. And actually didn't know at the time that Tara, my character, wasn't in the book. I didn't know that until I read the book. So that was a surprise. And I was like, oh no, what am I doing? Um, but I really liked the book. I really love YA. I've always really loved YA. And I love like the simplicity of a relationship, like a love triangle. I love the story of Jackie and the just incredibly tragic life change she goes through at such a young age and how she has to navigate the world after that in such a different space. Love a fish out of water story. And it's just it really it made me so much more excited to be doing this show because I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want to be doing. I want to be doing a story that makes people feel like if they are going through something hard, if they have experienced a tragedy recently, watch this show and like
Mhm.
let yourself just be it's an escape. Let yourself be taken away for a little while and just be able to have that for yourself. It made me very excited once I read the book to then start shooting.
I also love that like you don't have to be a teenager to relate to a YA show or
No.
book. Like anybody could relate to it, especially when there are adult characters that are have their own plots and storylines going on.
Absolutely, and I think that's why Melanie, who's the showrunner and it adapted the show from the book, I think that's why she did that too, because she was like, let's broaden this world, let's really fill it out with a bunch of fun characters. And I'm so grateful she created Tara because Tara's me. I was like, oh, you just wrote me. Great, easy.
So when it comes to Tara, what was it like playing a brand new character, one that wasn't in the books? Kind of you had the responsibility of bringing her to life and almost birthing her.
It's so true. I birthed two babies in the last 2 years. Um, it was fun. I kind of loved it. I loved that I had room to play. Melanie always asked me questions about Tara because we were kind of creating her together in a way, which was really cool. I've never had a showrunner do that. Be like, what do you think about this? It's like, um, I guess, of course, I thought about it a million different ways. But it was exciting, and it was like the very first day of shooting. I met Melanie on set, the showrunner, and she asked me if I thought the name was pronounced Tara or Tara. And I was like, well, she has a beautiful English accent. And I was like, well, you just said Tara so beautifully. So it's Tara. And that's what and I was like, how I've never been asked that before to be able to create the pronunciation of my character's name. I know it seems so small, but it's such a big deal when you inhabit a character for so long and they mean so much to you. And I think being able to create her really helped her mean so much to me because, like you said, she's kind of my baby.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like that makes it so special because I don't know, like there's something about book characters and seeing them on screen and being able to portray that. But then when it's someone brand new, it must add like another layer of an excitement to it.
Absolutely. It's like every single script you get to create something really fun and new. And it has to, of course, match what you've been doing and be consistent and have the arc of your character remain consistent. But there's so much more to play with. And that's actually true for the characters in the book too. Like I know that they have their frames, kind of their drawings of what they are, like their outlines. But like after reading the book, I think that what Nikki did with Jackie is not what I would have seen reading that book, but it's absolutely Jackie, and it's so perfect, and she's so great at it, and it's exactly that. It's like everybody's interpretation of a character is different. So I could read that and be playing Jackie and be like, oh, I'm going to do it this way. Nikki read that character and saw an experience, and she really played that just so beautifully on the show. And I think that's also really cool is that people can have different perspectives on a character in a book, like Harry Potter. Like there's so many people who I'm a huge Harry Potter nerd. There are so many people who have a specific opinion of like Malfoy, the evil character in the book. Um, but I think that that was played so well because he saw it as a different thing. He saw Malfoy as somebody who like really didn't have a choice, and that made that character so much more special. And I think that that's what's so cool about being able to adapt a character from a book as well as just getting to be a whole entire new person.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Something that I love about your character is that she kind of feels like a mirror, like a parallel to Jackie's character. Um, like
I love
you're
that.
giving her advice,
Yeah.
but you're kind of going through some similar situations, especially when it comes to the love triangle that your character ends up in.
Yes.
Um, so did you know that your character was going to be in a love triangle, and which team are you on?
I did not know. I had no idea. I knew that Tara was gonna have a boyfriend because then the very first episode, we the very first episode that I shot was episode 6 where we had that dinner with Haley and Will. And so that day I met Mohab, who plays Nikhil, and I met Haley, who plays Zoe, and I met Johnny, who plays Will. And we all had to pretend like we have just known each other forever. You know what I mean? It was really fun. But me and Mohab, me and Nikhil had to pretend we've been dating for months. So to create that chemistry was really cool and fun. And then to meet Alex, who plays Uncle Richard, and find out that maybe there was going to be something between us. Like I heard rumors everywhere, like at fittings and stuff. Like there's something that happens at the wedding, and I was like, "What? What's happening at the wedding? Why won't anybody tell me? Just tell me so I can prepare for it." And it didn't happen until they released episode 10, where I was like, okay. It was such a good surprise. What a fun surprise. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is there one that you think that Tara would be better suited with at this point? I know we haven't seen like a lot, but next season I'm sure we will.
Well, it's hard for me because Tara is my baby, and
Mhm.
Keel has really messed around with her big time. And I feel like she needs, Nikhil's great and grounded and wonderful, but maybe she needs, a trip to New York. Maybe she needs to go to the ballet. Maybe she needs to go to some fancy dinners. And maybe she needs to be treated like the queen she is a little bit. So at this exact moment, just because of those reasons, I'm Team Richard.
I
I
love how
want to
that
go
would
to New
make
York.
I love how that would make like everybody part of the same family at the end of the day.
It really would. And I just like
Yeah.
imagine so many like the funny things that can be written of Richard and Tara starting this relationship and like the awkwardness with Jackie and like them being like the Walters being like, what are you doing here? You go to school.
Yes.
This is inappropriate. Get out of here. It's just so many fun moments that could happen if we did really explore that relationship with
Mhm.
Richard, especially if he's spending time at the Walter house because he's creating this business with Will. That would be
Mhm.
super fun.
And I feel like a good love triangle never hurt anyone. So it's always a lot of fun to have that drama in there.
Always. And also like it just gives you something to root for. It gives you a person to root for. It gives you a relationship to root for. It's like that like back and forth. We've all experienced something similar to that in life. So it's so relatable. And it's just fun to watch. It's fun to escape into.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, throughout the show, Tara's character really evolved. She became much more prominent. Did you know that your character would have such a big part when you first auditioned for her?
I didn't. I kind of assumed I would be there, and helpful and help Jackie. And that was kind of my role was to push her storyline forward. I did not realize that Tara was going to have her own whole situation. Melanie had hinted at it a little bit throughout the series. And my part just kind of kept getting bigger and bigger as it went on, which was great. And I was so grateful for it. And so I felt very lucky. And so, but by the end of it, all of a sudden, I had my own love triangle, and I was like, yes, yes. It's just a really good feeling to start the show as a character that you kind of assume is going to be supporting and still is supporting, but ends up kind of with her own, you can really see her perspective and you can really see what she's fighting for. And now you're kind of fighting with her for something. And I think that's kind of where Tara is by the end of it. You're like, wait, don't go with Nikhil. He's broken up with you 15 times. Wait, but Richard's, who knows? He's a wild card. Like I that's exciting that people are talking about it and people have a team, are picking teams. Like I've had people like message me on Instagram being like, Team Richard. I'm like, I feel you. Like, okay, I am too. I hope so. I love Mohab and Nikhil. Mohab, I love you. It's not about that at all. Nikhil as well, but also Richard.
You know,
But that
every girl deserves someone with a little bit of money sometimes.
a little bit of ballet is all I'm asking for. I'm asking for a symphony and I'm asking for a ballet. I don't think that's much.
No, no, I don't. And I like how Noah brought up that you really do parallel Jackie's character. And I think that might be such a, I don't know, obviously we don't know what's happening in season 2 yet, but that could
Or
be an interesting storyline, kind of seeing Tara mentoring Jackie, also with the love triangle, kind of. I don't know how to describe it, but like,
totally. I see what you're saying. Like I kind of imagined at the beginning of the show because Jackie was missing a family, and of course, Sarah Rafferty's character is her mother at this point, or the embodiment of a mother figure to her at this point. But I kind of felt like Tara was the backup to that.
Mhm.
This girl who has no parents at this point, whose family, was tragically lost. I felt like Tara, or my decision for Tara was, I'm going to take this girl under my wing and I'm going to make sure she's okay. I'm going to make sure that maybe I go a little further with her, and I'm kind of hoping that that continues. I would love if Tara could be, like an aunt-like figure to Jackie, really help her through maybe some of this love triangle business, since we're going to be in the exact same situation next season. Have a good convo about that. Just help her see that that this roadmap that she's created for herself, although it's a great one, Princeton and the success she wants to have, that there can be something else, that a different path is available to her, and Tara being able to support her on that path is what I've always hoped. I love that Noah brought up that they were parallels. What an insightful thing. That's such a smart thing to say. That's
Yeah,
great.
when
I
we
never
were
thought about that.
discussing, yeah, when we were discussing the questions, like that was something that we like thought of, and we were like, oh my gosh, we have to bring this up
So
because
smart. That's really a
yeah.
good point. Yeah. And I think that Tara sees a lot of herself in Jackie,
Hmm.
I think Tara really wanted to be successful when she was younger. I think that she was a great student. I think that she really focused on that. I don't think she was a big partier. I think she maybe stayed home a lot and read a lot of books,
Hmm.
which is my bad. That's me. That's me all the time. I love that. Home reading a book. So I think she sees a lot of herself in Jackie, and I think she wants, you know, if she can help it, she wants Jackie to have a little bit less of the maybe pain in high school that she had.
Yeah. So also, what's it like being on a Netflix show that already has a built-in fan base? Like Netflix is huge, but this book is also big and has a lot of people that already liked it before the show came out.
Yeah, and which I didn't even realize
Yeah.
until after. It's I don't have as much responsibility, I feel like, as the other characters who were in the book. That's a lot of weight to carry when people love characters in books, and they have a certain viewpoint of what that character is going to be like. So I don't have that obligation, I don't feel like, but I do have like a I feel like I want to make this new character who's in this world work for everybody that's reading this book, that read the books and loved the book. I want them to feel like she fits, and I want them to feel like she's exciting and a new fun addition, and that she's supporting the characters that they already love so much.
Yeah.
I think,
Definitely.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to.
you can go. Sorry.
I think what I like about having Tara's storyline too is it makes it a good show for like mothers and daughters to also watch, because
Yeah,
you have that adult storyline and also that YA storyline, and both can appeal to everyone. But the
yeah.
different stages of life like makes it easier, say, to like maybe watch with your parent or like kind of just have a TV show that brings you together.
Absolutely. And again, I think that's another really smart thing that Melanie did. She wanted to make sure that everybody was kind of accounted for. And I've heard a lot from people that have messaged me saying, like, Tara is so relatable. Like, I'm going through almost this exact thing in my life, or this is how I feel all the time, or like, oh my God, dating is the worst. Like, just things that make, when you watch something, which is one of the reasons I love TV so much, and you see like even a little bit of your experience in the world reflected back to you, that feels so good. And it makes you feel not alone. And I think that that's a really cool thing about Tara, and about the age she's at and the place she's at in her life. And that you can see the difference between, like, say, where Jackie is and where Tara is, or where Haley is and where Tara is. Um, it's such a broad spectrum of experience in our show, and in Walter Boys, and I think that that's really fun to watch. If I wasn't on the show, I'd watch it for that exact reason. Like, I love a big, um fun, really fleshed out world that has great supporting characters, because then I believe that world so much more. And I'm like, oh, this is an actual town.
Mhm.
This is a place where people live and where people grow and where people learn. And I think all of our supporting characters really enhance that big time.
Mhm. I also love it because you don't have to be 16 to have a coming of age moment. And I feel like, because I feel like in coming of age, like television and movies, like mostly the characters are like they're teenagers a lot of the time. And so I love that we have two coming of age stories like simultaneously in the show.
It is. I feel like Tara, she really, I think, focused on her career a lot in her life
Mhm.
and just couldn't at certain points be bothered with the insanity of dating and finding, your soulmate. And so I think that she focused on her career and she's like, this is where I want to be. I'm successful. I'm exactly where I want to be, and I have what I want to have in this area of my life. And I completely ignored this area of my life. So she's coming of age in her relationships and
Mhm.
in the world of love and trying to figure out kind of like where she belongs. And I think that Richard being interested in her is like a
Yeah.
oh, right. I am great. I forgot about that. I've been so busy doing other things, forgot I was great. And sometimes you just forget you're great.
Yes.
Yeah. Big time coming of age stuff.
Mhm.
And I think what's so exciting is that My Life with the Walter Boys is coming back for a season 2. So congratulations on that renewal. So
Thank you so
exciting.
much. So exciting. It's such a quick one too. We were both like, yes.
Yeah.
There are some shows you wait and wait and wait and wait and wait, and you hear nothing,
Nothing
Mhm.
agonizing. This happens, I mean,
Mhm.
all the time. You're like, come on, just at least give us a roundabout time of when it might be coming back.
right?
Kills. But yeah, luckily, I think that we are. I mean, I don't know when we're shooting. I've heard rumors, so I'm not going to say anything. But luckily, I think we're coming back sooner rather than later.
So exciting. But what are you hoping for to see in season 2?
In terms of everything, kind of like, or specific things.
Oh, just in terms of everything, like,
Well, I mean, my favorite character, Danny. Danny and Aaron. I'm really excited to see what happens with that. That's like one of my favorite storylines. I'm so thrilled that that's going to happen or that that's on its way to something. Um, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Jackie and like how does she get back? How does she come back? When we read the that last episode at our table read, it was the first day I'd met Jason Priestley, who directed our last episode. And of course, I was a fan of 90210 when I was a kid. And so I was, he's amazing. He's an idol of mine. And so at the end of the script, we see that, spoiler alert, that Jackie is leaving, that she's going back to New York with Richard and Danny. And when I read that, I went out loud like a viewer of the show, like I wasn't at a table read, like I was at home yelling at my television. I went, "What are you doing, Jackie?" Just like a crazy person. And I think since that day, I've been like, "How is she coming back? How are we going to get her back?" So that's a huge one. Who's she going to pick? I mean, what a hard decision.
Mhm.
I'm really excited to see that. I'm excited to see what happens with the farm and Will, or the ranch and Will, and if the business is successful, and I think his business idea is such a pretty idea, all those beautiful yurts. I'm excited about that. Um, and I'm excited. I really want Kylie and Alex to get somewhere. It kills me that Alex is just like, you're my bro. And I'm like, but she's so wonderful. You go for Kylie. She's there. She's doing great. She's like the best person for you. So I want that to happen a little bit too. Even if he still goes back to Jackie, at least let's see some, Kylie appreciation is all I'm asking
Yeah.
for. Just
yeah,
I
Kylie.
feel I feel so bad for her. I can feel her pain of like having those feelings. And
Oh,
then he said that to her and then she just feels like she has to like keep all her feelings like more like suppressed because well obviously he doesn't feel the same way back at least in this moment. So
yeah.
I hope that we see some more going on with them.
I truly felt like just like shot back into high school when that moment happened of like a boy telling me that he just wasn't ready to date. I was just like I feel so much of her pain, and that's why I think I so badly root for her. And I'm like, one day, Kylie, you will get yours. You will be
Yes.
recognized for how awesome you are and how incredible you are. So fingers crossed on that, guys.
I feel like that's such an important storyline to have because, like, some of these shows just show, like, oh, they're so happy in a relationship. It all works out for them. Everyone wants them, but that's not how it goes.
Not at all. It's always like a back and forth and a struggle on what's going to happen. And we have a lot of good ones on this show of that, I feel
Mhm.
like. Even like
Yeah.
God, we have so many characters on the show, guys. I'm like, what's his name? We have so many relationships that are kind of like in limbo, and you're like, is this gonna happen? Is this gonna I also want to see stuff happen with Grace. Like, where's Grace going? Is she gonna be in a relationship with somebody? Is she going to be an absolute nightmare and disaster? Is it going to be hilarious? I bet it is. And I can't wait to see all of it unfold. To me, she's little Tara's Grace, big time. Like that connection feels very specific to me. I hope I get to have a scene with her because I think that we'd really have some fun. Yeah, me and Ellie.
Have you guys seen the OC?
Some of
Yes.
it at the beginning of the show.
Okay, I haven't watched it all either, but the ending of My Life with the Walter Boys reminds me of the OC when I think it's Seth.
Ryan. Oh, no, Seth, you're right. On a
He
boat.
like
Yeah.
goes away and like
Right.
runs away because there's like the whole, I don't know, was it a love triangle? I don't know. I don't remember it
It
clearly.
was.
It's like a soft memory for me.
Yeah. It
Just
was
so
like his friend. I think it was his best friend and then Summer, I'm pretty sure. And there was like a love triangle going on between them.
and one
And
of them
then I
takes off.
think,
He takes off on a
yeah, no,
boat.
like Seth like goes away on a boat like at the end of the season.
You know, Jackie, I get it. She was like,
Hmm.
this is too much. Like, this is
Hmm.
overwhelming. I'm in a relationship with Alex. I just kissed Cole.
Yeah.
What do you do? You know, at a certain point, you're like, I can't take this anymore. And also with everything she's already going through, like she's not just going through like this relationship struggle. She's going through one of
Yeah.
the most heart-wrenching things you can ever go through in life, on
Hmm.
top, of all of his other stuff. So I completely get hopping on that plane with Richard.
And I
But I
think,
need her to come back. I
Yeah.
need you to come back, Jackie.
and I think too, because she lives with them and she's always surrounded by it. Like she never has a
You get
break.
away
It's
from
like
it. Yeah.
that love triangle is always right in her face. Like,
Hmm.
Constantly. That's
And
it. I
yeah.
know exactly. I feel the exact, yeah, she can't escape. She can't, I mean, she could come over to Tara's apartment if she wants. I'm assuming I live with like maybe like one dog or like a cat or both. We got room. We've got a sofa
Yes.
at least. We got a sofa
And
bed.
also Danny went to New York too at the end. So
Mhm.
at least like they kind of have each other, I guess, now in New York for whatever time they spend there. Because I
That's,
think that their friendship was also something super nice to see develop.
I agree. They like found each other and he's
Mhm.
such a I love that character. He's so much integrity and he's so grounded and solid. Um and he's going to be there for the summer. So I kind of feel like that's kind of like her timeline. You know what I mean? Like she's
Yeah.
going to be there for the summer. Danny's going to be there for the summer. Maybe he's going to be the impetus to go back. Like, hey, I'm going back.
Hmm.
Don't run away. Let's do this together kind of a deal.
Or maybe Richard will want to go back to see Tara and
Yeah, to
no.
go work on the business.
Yeah, exactly.
there's so many possibilities. It's so
I
exciting. And
know.
like,
And
I'm like
it's so
on
fun
the
to
edge of
talk
my
about.
seat waiting.
I
Yeah.
know. And also like almost like pretty much every storyline and character has like a lot of depth to it that we're able to talk about it for so long. Like literally any storyline that has happened in the show.
It's so true. Olivia, like I think about that storyline a lot and like what a terrible position she was put in kind of, I mean, she
Yeah.
kind of did it to herself, but like, an awkward position she was put in and Erin's storyline with her mom and with her wanting to change, paths in life.
Hmm.
Everybody that's why the show is so wonderful, I think, and it's so well written is because everybody has a story. None of these characters, you're like, oh, they're just cursory characters.
Hmm.
Everybody has a life and you see that life fleshed out so beautifully. And everybody who plays their characters is doing it so well. It's just a testament to the show. I think that everybody really understands their characters and really loves doing it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And here at Entertainment Roadmap, we love to do a hot seat section. So would you like
Oh
to take a seat
boy.
in the hot seat?
I
A
will
seat in the hot seat.
I will take a seat in the hot seat as long as it's not too hot. How hot is
How
it?
is that? So are you team Alex or team Cole?
Oh no, I knew it was coming. Okay, the only reason I'm saying what I'm saying is because I, as a person, as Ashley, if I was watching the show, would be like, I'm Team Cole because I love a relationship that's mysterious and you don't know where it's going because I'm a glutton for punishment. So I'd be like, yeah, I can change him. He will love me. We'll have a great life together. I'm sure he'll be stable one day. So because of my teenage heart, I choose Cole. My adult heart, my adult mind knows Alex is the right decision. But my teenage heart usually rules my mind, so I'm going Team Cole on it. I got us rooting for that real hard. When I saw that scene in the barn, I was like, let's go.
I can't
Let's
even
get
lie. I
Cole.
went back and forth so many times
So did
while
I.
watching. I was like,
Even
they're
while
both
shooting,
having
I
their
did it.
moments. Yeah.
Same, yeah. Even while shooting, I was like, oh God, who's she gonna be with? What's gonna
Hmm.
happen? Alex is so sweet, but Cole is so like fun and like what's gonna happen? And
Hmm.
I do not envy Jackie, not one bit,
Yeah,
not at all.
not at all.
Mm-mm.
Um, do you have an all-time favorite book?
I do. It's actually a book series. It's the His Dark Material series, and The Golden Compass is the most famous book of the series. That's the first book. My daughter actually was named after the heroine of that series, Lyra. Lyra, and the book, her name is Lyra Belacqua. My daughter's name is not Lyra Belacqua, it's Lyra Antoinette. Um, but I love that series so much. It came to me at a time in my life where I was really looking for like a path and for a purpose, and I was really looking for kind of a new big idea to propel me forward in life, and I found so much of that in that series, and it really showed me a different point of view, and it's just so beautifully written and so incredible, and if you guys haven't read it, I highly recommend it. Having the idea of having your soul outside of your body is kind of your companion and your other, uh just it just warms my heart. I love animals. So I really loved that. I love that your demon changes shape as you grow in life. And I feel very honored that I got to name my daughter after that character.
That's a
So
great.
nice.
And do you have a favorite current movie or TV show?
My favorite current show, and I'm just so sad it's not on right now. And when is it going to come back, guys? Is The Buccaneers on Apple Plus. Oh my God. Have you watched it?
I have
I
not.
started watching.
It's so good. And at first I was not as in as I was by the end. By the end, I'm like, I could not stop and I'm just dying for the next season. It's so well done. And I love a period piece. I love the costumes. I love the drama. I love the settings. This is an updated version of a period piece. They made it very contemporary, but it's a great show. I highly recommend if you haven't watched it. It's love, it's funny, it's sad, it's well written, it's well acted, it's really great. Really, really great.
Sounds
These are
good.
really good, really good recommendations for
Yeah.
books and TV. Yeah, I was waiting because I think the episodes came like once a week, right?
They did. Yeah, but
Yeah.
they're all out now. You can watch all
Mm-hmm.
10 at this point.
And it got renewed for season two.
It
I was
did.
really
Like,
scared to like get attached to another show and then have it get canceled. But now that it's like complete, hmm
I totally understand. There was oh God, what was it? My brain is a sieve. There was a show recently that I was watching and I didn't know it had already been canceled. And so I thought I was like waiting for that second season. And I went just like Googled it real quick, like, oh, when's it coming back? And they were like,
Oh
no,
no.
why did I watch that
That
all first?
happened.
Why did I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was a Netflix show too. And I was like, Netflix, can you listen? Please, please bring it back.
Yes.
Maybe
Oh,
one day. And if I can remember the name of the show, that'd be helpful too. We'll figure it out.
yes. If you were stuck on an island, what three things would you want to bring with you?
Now, is this fantasy or is this like practicality? I'm a Virgo, so I need to know if we're like this
It could
fantasy.
be fantasy.
Okay. If it was fantasy, I'd bring a air fryer to cook some delicious fish. Just like fry it up on a,
Mhm.
on a regular basis. Love it, love it, love an air fryer. I'd bring one of those beautiful yurts from the wedding at My Life with Walter Boys to live in.
Mhm.
It seems like it would be helpful for the sun situation. And then I would bring probably just a massive library of books. And because this is fantasy, I'm going to add one more thing. It's just a solar powered radio so I can listen to music while I read and hang out in my stunning yurt on the
That
beach,
honestly, that
you know.
sounds nice.
Doesn't
Yeah,
it?
that
Don't
makes
you
it
think it's
sound better, like not being stuck on an island, more like a little vacation.
Yeah.
thriving,
Yes.
thriving on
Thriving.
a deserted island. If it was real, I'd bring chapstick and like one of those water straws that purifies
Yeah.
water and probably still like a hat, like I need to survive here. But otherwise, but if it's fantasy, I'm living. I am
An air
Mhm.
fryer, I love that.
Yes.
living.
And if you could work with any actor or director, who would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. Probably be, just because his movies have meant so much to me growing up my whole life. Close Encounters of the Third Kind is one of my favorite movies. Steven Spielberg would be the ultimate. And I feel like I grew up on his films and they're such a touchstone for me and they mean so much to me. So I feel like I'd really assimilate well into his films because they're just ingrained in my psyche at this point. I've watched so many of them and watched them so many times. Like E.T. I could recite by heart. So that'd be a cool one. So, Spielberg, just hit me up if you ever right here. Not on a deserted island, promise. But you can borrow my air fryer if you end up there.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for joining us today. We had such a great time talking with you, and we're so excited to see season 2 and see what Tara gets herself into.
Me too. I can't wait. I'm sure it's going to be a ton of things, so I cannot wait. And hopefully we'll get to talk about that after season 2.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
No
Thank you.
problem. Thank you.